Hello, my name is Telema Harry. I'm the micro enterprise leader for NewFI Mobile. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about how GE is investing in service and how GE is investing in training our customer care service network. So NewFI Mobile is actually an excellent tool for training technicians as to how to troubleshoot issues on appliances. And so not just for troubleshooting issues, but actually training technicians in terms of how to troubleshoot issues on appliances. So working in conjunction with this prop here that Tim Burdick, our master trainer, field trainer, has created, we can use NewFI Mobile to teach technicians in the field about refrigerators and other appliances, and about all the components within the appliance. And we can also teach them how to use NewFI Mobile to troubleshoot these appliances by exercising components in the appliance and seeing how they react to inputs from NewFI Mobile. So I'm going to have Tim Burdick actually come up, and he's going to go through all the different capabilities of NewFI Mobile and how it can interact with this test prop that we've created and show the capabilities of NewFI Mobile.
Thank you, Telema. Again, my name is Tim Burdick. I'm going to demo the prop. This is actually a Cafe Keurig refrigerator. I've taken all of the components, harvested them off of a refrigerator, and built this prop. And this is for training purposes. When we have a new technician or experienced technicians and we want to deep dive into troubleshooting, learn how to troubleshoot this refrigerator. We can do that with NewFI Mobile. If I hook up NewFI Mobile, which you can see now, I do have it already connected. It's already on the device, displaying on the device, so I can walk through and troubleshoot each component. So if I have a scenario where a customer is saying they hear some noise from the refrigerator, sometimes they hear it, sometimes they don't, and it's a vibrating noise. Typically that leads us right to a fan. So what fan is it? Well, we can identify that by clicking on Next on our screen, and then I can go to Operate Loads. From there, I can enter service mode on the bottom of my screen. Now the screen has turned red, and now I can begin to identify my fan motors. If I click on Fans, then I can turn on all fans at one time, have them all running at one time, or I can isolate these fans. So let's start with the freezer fan, which is the white one down here at the bottom. So I could run my freezer fan, turn it on, and there it is on high. I could run it on medium or low. If my fan wasn't running at all, that would prompt me then to say, well, I could go and check for voltages at my control board here and see if I have the necessary voltage out to the fan motor, or I can check resistances from the control board. But right here I can see that my fan motor is running, so I can turn that off. Didn't hear any noise. I can go to my condenser fan motor, turn it on, and I see this one now is running. So the condenser fan's running, so it checks okay, no odd noises. I could run it too on medium, low, high. I can turn that off. I could run my fresh food evaporator fan, which would be this one here, and then I could watch that run, and I could determine whether that is my issue or not. I can turn that back off. So I can do that with each one of my loads and my fan motors. I can also go back and let's say I could check the doors and lights. So I'm not sure if my lights are working, my door switches are functioning properly. So I could turn on my fresh food lights, which I have 5 of those. As you can see across the top, I could turn them on, and sure enough, all the lights work. Turn them back off. And I could demo my freezer light down here at the bottom, turn that on. Freezer light's working well. Naturally, if it didn't work, then we could go to the door switch itself and start ohming out potential issues. Then I have a duct door. This is my ice chute where the ice drops down into my cup, and I could demo that, make sure that works, and sure enough, it comes up, and I could close it, and it will close. Usually takes a second. And it closes up again. So I could test that. Let me go back on my screen and let's go to dispenser. And I can check my auger motor. I could run clockwise for crushed ice, counterclockwise for cubed ice. So let's turn on and run clockwise. So my auger motor is running. Ice is falling out. You don't see it. Turn it off. I could run cubed ice. And counterclockwise for cube, so I know that component is testing good. I can check all of my thermistors. If I just swipe from right to left, I could see the actual temperatures of all of my thermistors, and because this is a prop, we have potentiometers here that would measure temperatures, so I can adjust those up or down. So if I pick one, let's say my freezer thermistor right here, and turn it way down and wait for a few seconds, you could see on my screen how the freezer thermistor went to 300 degrees, telling me, hey, we have an open thermistor, we have a defective thermistor. So it would tell you right away if you have a defective thermistor. So I could swipe back, and all of my temperature readings are on there, be it ambient thermistor, fresh food, freezer thermistor, evaporator thermistors, all of those are on there. So I could tell pretty quick if I have a temperature issue. I could just plug in NewFI, swipe over, and I can tell within seconds if I have a thermistor issue. I think we talked earlier, we could go back, exit here, we could run compressors, we could run the three-way valve, different components. Everything on this prop I could test with the NewFI. Everything on there. I could go to cycle history if I wanted to do that as a tech, and I could say, well, I could look at if the customer's been complaining about fresh food temperatures. I could graph my temperatures, add data, fresh food max, fresh food minimum, done, and I could see a chart how I have fluctuated in my temperatures, so I could see a pattern whether I'm keeping stable temperatures or unstable temperatures. So I could see that real quick. I could do that with any of my data. I could also go into my data and I could go down and say, well, how long, we saw that there was a problem with temperatures that was real up high in the fresh food. So I could go down and find my fresh food door and find out how many times that door has been open or how long it's been open, and I could scroll across at my history. Here I don't have any on my prop, but if this was a refrigerator that had been plugged in for a while, I would see that that door had been open for 3 hours, 4 hours. I could tell what day, if it was 3 days, 4 days, 5 days ago. I could tell all of that with NewFI Mobile. So those calls that are in question where there seems to be no answers and it's working good now, I could now go back in the history and find that answer. I could check all of my water heat. This is a water heater system. All of my valves I can check individually. We won't run those because naturally I don't have water hooked up to my unit to show you, but I could run every solenoid individually. And the beauty of this too is when I'm checking a particular component individually, it gives me lots of time to go and check voltages while that particular component is on. I think that gives us a pretty good test drive for what this unit will do. It's a very, very powerful tool in the hands of a technician. It makes that tech more accurate, more efficient, long-term goal, more prosperous.